What is up, guys? Control here. In today's video is going to be on Sejuani Gangplank. I actually just played Gangplank for the first time a couple days ago, and I like him a lot. He's pretty fun. So I was actually looking online, and there was a player from Asia named Natsuna who played a Gangplank Sejuani deck that was basically built around just plundering aggressively early to kind of get a Wolf Rider online, or just basically any of the other plunder effects you're going to be having, like the Jagged Butcher even. And then just level up the Sejuani and Gangplank, so you have those two units as really big finishers for just the later game kind of periods in the game. And I actually found this deck to be quite a bit stronger than I thought it would be initially. I kind of looked at it and I was like, okay, well, this seems like it's kind of good. But when you do level up the Gangplank or Sejuani, it gets a little bit better than good, because you can really utilize both their effects super well. Sejuani's especially because you do just have so many ways to plunder with all the overwhelm cards and just stuff like Makery and warning shots and all that kind of jazz. Parlays even too. And I mean, Gangplank, you have a couple barrels, not too many of those, so you do have some synergy with that, especially when utilized with the Dreadway. But overall, I would say this deck is actually a pretty decent one, and one that you could bladder with for sure if you're having a lot of the cards and you could find a lot of success. For example, on Master Ladder, we went 10 and 5 with it. But let's talk about it a little bit, because it is relatively interesting. So to get the plunders off early, you have a couple key cards, just basically 3 spell-wise at least. So double Warning Shot, double Parlay, and triple Make It Rain. So Warning Shot's just really good basically at any point in the game. Sometimes you will draw 2 of them in a row, and that will be kind of frustrating, but that's okay, because I mean, it's pretty unlikely. I think I had one period where it was like turn 7, 8, 9, and I drew like 3 Jagged Butchers in a row, and that kind of was kind of tilting, but overall, it's not that big of a deal, and it's not going to happen too often. But yeah, you do have the Butcher to kind of just like scale ahead of your opponent early game, and just get a really big advantage board wise. You have Parlay to deal with a lot of like the 1 health units early game and get the plunder off. You have Hired Gun, which is really nice actually for plundering as well, because you can make it so you have like an Omen Hawk, grab like the strongest enemy unit that they have with a vulnerable, like mid to late game sometimes. And then you can make it so your overwhelm units will only get blocked by smaller units. So you can plunder that way with the Hired Gun too. I mean, in general, she's actually just one of the better Bilgewater cards I find, because she kind of just lets you have a way to deal with really big, strong mid-game threats by allowing your strong mid-game threats to kind of not have to trade into them. So it's kind of just like a card that's good on turn 2, but even good like mid to late, because it'll protect like your GP or Sejuani basically. Definitely one I'm a fan of. Otherwise, you have like Raider as well as a 2-drop. This one I usually would just jam on 2, especially on evens, and just attack, even if she will just die, because she does just get you the plunder in a very straightforward and simple way, which is really good. You also have Monkey Idol. This is a card that I have been a huge fan of recently. I've been playing a lot more Bilgewater, and Monkey Idol post buff is actually so good when you're playing these type of champions that do need to plunder. Or, even something like Swain, for example, like we did in yesterday's video, where the Monkey Idol just turbo scaled the Swain. In this case, I mean, you just get the Powder Monkey that gives you the last breath every single round. Super good card, and really strong post buff, getting the 3 ticks instead of just 2. And I mean, with Sejuani and Gangplank, you're playing double champions that require plunder effects to be leveled. The Monkey Idol giving you that effect 3 times is super sweet, and one that I would definitely recommend running, and then testing out for yourself. Petty Officer is just a good card for the kegs. I mean, it's not insane, but keg plus Make It Rain, keg parlay is pretty good. It's definitely not bad, and it's something that can be useful, even in the sense that you can get like random 1-cost allies to block with or attack with, kind of stuff. Fury of the North is just a very generic value card that is just strong. I mean, there's not too much more to say than that. It's a burst spell, a good combat trick, just a powerful spell that definitely makes a cut, and is one that is definitely good enough to play. Wolf Rider is one of the key plunder cards that you have in this list. It just lets you ramp ahead of your opponent, which isn't all too much relevant in this list, because I mean, if you look at the top end, it's not that big. You can ramp like 1 turn and get a Sejuani out 1 turn faster than your opponent, so they can't Sejuani your Sej back, which is pretty good. And then I mean, you can ramp to like Tusk Raider / Dreadway quite a bit quicker actually. I think in like the 15 games we played, I didn't even draw a Tusk Raider 1 time, but I did play Dreadway like 5 or 6, and this card is just absolutely bonkers, and definitely one that I think makes a cut. And honestly, same with Tusk Raider. I think you could just go double Dreadway, but I think Tusk Raider just to draw Sejuani can be really strong, because Sejuani later on can be a lot better than Gangplank, I find. But both in the end game are just like huge carries that will win you games. Also have Grifter as well. Our allegiance ratio isn't super nuts, it's 25 to 15. But, you know, when you do have it pop off, it's nice. And you also do get the warning shot, which is kind of the main part of the card. It's just like a decent late game play because, I mean, you can steal a card, have like, you know, 5 or 6 mana to play the card that you steal with, and have a warning shot to activate your plunder effect. So overall, just a good card. Gangplank and Sejuani, we talked about them quite a bit. They're definitely the centerpieces of this list, and why it works is because you plunder everything, you get this Sedge and the GP leveled, and they kind of just overwhelm your opponents with the rest of your overwhelm cards, and win you the game. Then you also have Sheriff Larry Rose. Definitely falls more into the tech card category, but this is one that can actually be pretty decent, just giving everything vulnerable. Again, in a list that wants to have everything have plunder, it is a good way to finish a game sometimes because you can just make it so your Sejuani can attack first, and then, you know, make all the vulnerable units go to the back of your small stuff so they can't choose where to block, and you can win that way. Definitely a decent card, and one that kind of surprised me as well, because it's definitely an underplayed card, but it is one that's if it needs to be played. That being said, I mean, you don't have to run it, right? I would say Tusk Reader and Dreadway are cards that you should probably run, but stuff like Sheriff Larry Rose is kind of more in the tech slot. Other than that, though, I would say that the deck is like honestly pretty solid, and I wouldn't really want to tinker around with it too much. I think I'm pretty happy with most of the things in here. You know, Parlay is a card that I thought would be kind of bad at first, but after actually playing with the deck a little bit, it felt pretty strong just because it does give you those early plunders. So I would say that you should play this list a little bit different than, you know, a lot of the Sejuani and Gangplank decks that you have played so far. Really, I would suggest approaching it with a mindset that you want to be plundering as often as possible, even if it seems kind of weird, just because of how powerful the leveled up Gangplank and Sejuani are, and you know, just how backbreaking they are for your opponent to deal with. So I would say look to do that, and you know, especially keep in mind stuff like the Wolf Rider, getting that on turn 4 is a pretty big thing to do. I would keep Warning Shot plus Wolf Rider in my opener a lot. I mean, average mulligans for this deck, I mean, I would keep Warning Shot a lot with like anything like a Jagged Butcher, you know, or even like the Wolf Rider. And that's about it, I guess. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a deck where you want to curve for the most part, but holding spell mana is not going to be super backbreaking, and falling behind is not the best, obviously, with a deck like this, but it also doesn't mean that you lose, because the second you have a leveled up GP attacking, you're kind of wiping the board anyways. And Sejuani can kind of help you bring that back as well. So even if you fall behind a little bit, just try to get the plunders up and try to, you know, restabilize with Gangplank Sedge. And that's basically all you want to do with this deck. Definitely doesn't look like it's that great, I would say, on paper, which I feel like I say about half the decks that I play. But when you do play it, it does feel quite good, as you guys are about to see from some of the gameplay that we have. Anyways, enjoy the video, guys. Thanks for watching. We're really close to 30k subs, so smash that sub button. I'd really appreciate that. Have a great day, and the video if you guys enjoy. Peace out. Have a good one. Okay, so Karma Ezreal, one of my favorite decks to play against in the entire world. What if I even keep Gangplank? Honestly, Sheriff Valeria Rose is pretty good, but a little bit just too late, I think. We're on odds, so Butcher is not going to get plundered till turn 3. Gangplank is fine in general, I think. But I don't know if it's really what I want against Karma Ez, when he's just going to get like Will of Ioniad or like Thermode right away. Feels better to try to play for some of the cheaper cards and do stuff like that. Double Omen Hawk is pretty nuts. No complaints there. I can maybe even like, I probably won't want to do it, but I could even like parlay for the Butcher next round technically. Sure. It's unfortunate. This is obviously a deck that really needs to plunder as often as possible just to get Sejuani and Gangplank leveled. It's kind of like the core idea behind the list, so not having that happen is really bad for us, obviously. Think that I should just play the Butcher so I'm up a unit, so my my open attack usually will end up resulting in a plunder. Warning Shot's kind of good with the Wolf Rider for next round, so we can just ramp a little bit. Sure. Perfectly fine. This guy really does not want to let me plunder, man. Holy shit. Parlay is slow, so obviously can't use it during combat. Kind of just sucks, but okay. So it's going to be pretty difficult for us now, I think, to pop off super hard here. The Dragon's okay. So I do want a Warning Shot and just play the Wolf Rider, I believe. Just get the empty mana crystal. It's pretty relevant early on here. It's not like we're really curving into too much at the moment, but you know, we're going to be stealing a card from his deck most of the time. Not like all the time, because I mean, we do have a fair amount of Freljord cards on the list, but when we do steal the card, it's going to be pretty important that we're going to have mana to play it, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to cross me.
That's kind of a good one. I don't think I mean, I guess I would get to play a 5/5 first if I warning shots. I mean, that could be a decent line. And here I'm not going to plunder anyways, so I should probably warning shot this round to get the Butcher online. Okay. So not bad to get buffed up units now, and obviously the Omen Hawk coming in pretty handy now. The attack button, he'll hit some blocks. Shoot. I don't know how relevant the Yoink is going to be. It's pretty nice because, I mean, he might be like relying on having some of his... Not so much like bigger units block, but just units in general block, I guess, and having Yoink to kind of like stop that is pretty sweet. I think going for the Petty Officer plus Parlay here is pretty good with the keg. What? Is it not supposed to? I guess it wouldn't show the keg, sorry. I thought that it would show a keg or like the random one costing, but it just showed 2 of the cards and then the options, my bad. I thought it was like a visual bug or something. It's kind of confused there for a second. That's fine, sure. So this will get like recalled or returned a lot of the time, I think. Mystic Shotted, sure. Would I just warning shot now to get that off? Okay, I mean, we don't run Riptide Rex in the stacks. I mean, the warning shot could just be used here to get 2 extra damage in. Kind of fine with that. Deny the Mystic Shot from targeting here so the Ezreal doesn't scale faster. Seems good. Pass. Fury's pretty good. Can also play it after you're doing the double stun here. So I might actually just win this round off of the Yoink Dion. Because he's not really going to have stuff to block with. It's going to have to be like 1 unit and a Will of Ionia. And then we're still going to have Fury. Could be Deny Palm, sure. Okay. It's kind of annoying. So the idea of winning probably just goes out the window because that just like allows him to develop 2 units. Mystic Shot. I mean, like in Fury of the North, that's to keep it around, but is it really even worth it? Probably. Take all of his mana. He's just gonna block that, then I put him at 4. Which is good, but it's not really a win still, so it's a little bit off. He also, like, technically doesn't kill the Grifter either. Or not the Grifter, sorry, but the... Hello? What is this? Oh, sorry, it's from... Oh, my bad. It's from the tracker. I thought something else was up. I was really confused there. Because it was just, like, hovered here. I'm like, wait, what is going on? But it was from the tracker. So I'm, like, completely used to the new one. Hey, what's up? Been following you since you were trolling opponents on Hearthstone Ladder, making them think you were playing Control. Cheers, Midlife. Sup, fix. Hope you have a good day, man. Thanks for tuning in, appreciate it. That is a pretty good draw. Give me my Gangplank, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually really good. We don't level him here, unfortunately, though, so I mean, we're not going to have the crazy effect going off with the AoE damage next round, but it's still pretty good. Pass. Don't really need to do too much there. I mean, we even just win with like the Dreadway attack here just because it literally doubles the damage of everything, right? And he can't block the Dreadway because it's fearsome. Having the higher gun's actually pretty good too. So I probably do, I mean, I get a powder cake if I do that. It might just be open then, but... The problem with open, I guess, is just that he could, in fact, just play Will of Ionia and it'd be pretty bad for us. So maybe even want to, like, hire gun and then play Gangplank. You, like, not even take the keg and go from there, maybe. I feel like something like a Will is pretty likely, though. I think he just played a Deep Meditation, too, so it should be, you know, Will/Thermoturn a lot of the time, and I don't think we'll actually win this round. But that being said, if we don't win right now, we're probably not going to win in general, just because he will be able to... Okay. I mean, we kill stuff at least. Is that even the play? I mean, everything kills everything else, but it's just like... If we want the Dreadway to be as healthy as possible, I guess this is the play. probably fine. Because it's a Dreadway, he doesn't really value trade anything, right? Like, we just go through stuff. So we should be okay. Got you the water. So basically he's going to just have to win with an Ezreal now. Otherwise we should just get there based on just clearing his board over and over again. Okay. Good stuff. And again, we didn't get the plunder, so I mean, it's kind of bad the GP's not leveled still. If he was, it would be a lot better for us just because we would have the kegs, and also because the AoE damage with the Dreadway up getting doubled every single round is kind of insane. So it kind of blows if that's not really the case, if that's able to happen here. But I think we're going to be fine still. Basically just based on the no Ezreal here, like I just feel like it's okay. Sure. So this is gonna get Dragon Link next turn too now. It's annoying, but sure. Oh, that's a cool card. Definitely one of the best ones we can have here. I'm really not into this whole like value blocking stuff and letting the Dreadway be at 1 health. Just feels like that's bad. Okay. So I mean it's still 1 off, but I mean it should be cleared still. I shouldn't even say that, right? He has 4 mushroom clouds in his hands, so it's not even like it's likely that it's gonna be cleared. If he's doing all the claws now, I guess he would do one so he gets the Dragon Link, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So we just do this and then play Make Arena, I guess. That's about it. Deny, oh no. Sure. Still get double damage of this though, right? So I mean we're still popping him really easily here. Pretty sweet. If he did have the Ezreal, that one would have been a lot harder than what it looked like. Because I mean, honestly, it kind of looked like he wasn't doing anything later on, and that was just because all of his spells, I guess, effectively did nothing without Ezreal, right? Or even Karma that game. So one that you know, the Dreadway draw definitely carried super hard, and yeah, big pickup on turn 9 there from basically a hand that would do nothing. I mean, higher gun's usually good. It's just I don't really have anything that's that big, so I might not want it right now. It is still at 2, but I think it's like this. Just keep the butchers probably. So if he doesn't have a 1-drop, I can open attack with my first butcher and then make my second one a 3/3. That being said, they usually do just have units. So I'd be surprised to see him not do anything here.
What does he want from me?
I could probably wait till next round, just parlay the 1/1 and then like double butcher. I think I'm okay with trying that line out. So since we have 2 3/3s and, you know, maybe parlay value unless he has like a feast or, I guess glimpse would be the good option there. But I think this makes sense to me. Because, I mean, the 1 mana 3/3s are just going to do really well at kind of like cleaning up the board. And they kind of farm Elise, so it's sort of really good here. So streamers do anything to recommend against a metagame consisting of elusive stuff and mid-range failure decks. Go to my YouTube, look at the video from yesterday with Darius and Elise. Titles like best aggro deck, something like that. But I would recommend that list. We go Monkey Idol here, really good for scaling Sedge and Gangplank, just because you do get the 1 last breath damage every single round. Let's take the trades here, that should be fine. And I think because we have the Sejuani in hand, we should actually Warning Shot here. So we're gonna get 3 more triggers from the Monkey Idol, and the Warning Shot here is just gonna scale here to effectively just complete the Sejuani level up, which is really what we're looking to do here. Is just level up the Sejuani and Gangplank, I believe, with a deck like this. Wolf Rider is really good too. So you can just open attack here, you can't block anything, and then we can play Wolf Rider after. And get the empty mana crystal and win the game. Jagged Butcher is kind of strong. Yeah, there's not too much more to say than that other than, wow, Jagged Butcher is strong. That was insane. Okay, good mulligan chat, thank you. I got the Wolf Rider, it's kind of good actually. They are also on evens, so it's not actually that bad. Should still be the Raider just because of the overwhelm, I think, over the Hawk. Might even just play like the Petty Officer for like a 1-drop next round, just so I can go ahead and get a higher chance of just having the Plunder for the Wolf Rider scaling. I mean, like, Hawk plus Higher Gun is pretty comparable now, too. It's actually really strong into Fizz. So that's the super good part about this card, is if he just plays a Fizz, I can just make him vulnerable. And that'll be a really good way for us to actually be able to deal with him. Sure.
Leave nothing standing.
So if he plays removal here, it's kind of annoying. But in this case, it's pretty good. You just go Wolf Rider now. TF for gold, sure. And we take our scaling. Super nice. It's really not like the biggest deal in the world to get this off, but it just makes the whole game a little bit nicer to have one more mana crystal than your opponent, and just like another really strong unit to play. So I'm definitely a fan of it, and I think it is a pretty sweet part of this deck. Also, like, the overwhelm is just good on the Wolf Rider, so you can kind of, like, enable the Sedge/GP level ups that you really want to get in this deck. Let's parlay my face. This man is crazy. So I guess he really wants to see what action I'm taking then if he's doing that. So maybe just take, like, a small one like the Omen Hawk instead of something a little bit larger like the Grifter or something. Oh. That would kind of make sense too. So I just buffed the cards that he's going to steal now. Well, you know what? I guess I am a nice guy. Yeah. Pull Shark's okay. It's not bad. Feels like we might just play Lariat Rose anyways, but it could be you know, nice for an extra play for next rounds. Oh, I give him a 0 mana 4/4, nice. Okay, well. Don't ever say I'm not a nice guy, chat. Because I definitely am. Play Hearthstone in the near future. I have no Hearthstone streams planned now. If you just want to watch me for Hearthstone, I don't know if I'd say unfollow, because, you know, for all I know, I might just like stop liking Runeterra that much in like a week or two, right? But for my Twitch channel, all I'm going to be doing is really playing games that I enjoy. Right now, that's Legends of Runeterra. So that's what I'll be playing, what I'll be making YouTube videos on. But if you know, I want to play Hearthstone in the near future, I will. That being said, I'm not very interested in that right now, and I'm having a lot of fun with Runeterra. So if what you're looking for is Hearthstone content, you may want to unfollow. I don't know if I do this just for the plunder here. It feels like it's probably worth it. I just don't have a Sedge in hand now. The thing is, he might attack now, right? Which isn't always going to be bad for us, but it's also not really always going to be good for us either. TF is almost leveled. I have nothing that's going to be able to do that much here other than this. We still have the Fury of the North as well that's playable here, so I think this is pretty sweet still. Where from? Canada. Vancouver specifically. Thanks for letting me know. No worries, man, no worries. I like to be pretty upfront about that kind of stuff. The Hearthstone stuff is, as you could probably imagine, the most commonly asked question that I have right now. Did you guys notice when I do that whistle thing, like the really shitty, like, I can't even recreate it, but I didn't really notice that I do that often until I started editing my video. Well, I've been editing my videos for a while, but I noticed it more when I was editing my videos. I'm like, wow, that's actually super annoying. I can't hear it that loudly because I have the game volume on with my headphones on, but the game volume compared to my voice is actually quite quiet. So I found it to be very noticeable. So red is up next. I'm gonna kill that. I don't know if I want to kill it because the red card's gonna fuck me up then. I feel like that's good. You know, maybe it's like this just so we can't block with this here because this is gonna die to the red card anyways. 2-2 like into the 6-5 should be okay maybe. Or something like that even. Potentially is good. And then just let him block the 6. I guess then the red card's good though. Whereas now the red card's less good. But red plus gold into this kills it. I guess he only has 2 mana though, but he has a warning shot, so. I guess that means the red and gold both go off anyways. So I guess this is just a play, then this gets golded. We still kill this. TF dies. Maybe you have like some cheeky Fury then or stuff, but I feel like he's just going to be able to gold card and then there's not really going to be anything cheeky at all that'll happen. It's just going to be my cards are going to die. Sure. Filter good, so you go cards at 6-5, steals our cards, unlucky, but that just happens. Can't do too much about that. TF is dead, 3-3 is alive. Fury of the North doesn't really seem that great here. But I mean, I could clear the Jagged Butcher if we wanted. Keep the, I mean, the Omen Hawk wouldn't be alive. Be a 5-4 then die. It's probably okay. And the warning shot is a burst spell, so, or sorry, not burst spell, it's fleeting because of the pool shark, so using that makes sense for sure. Just to get the, I mean, we already have the plunder going up, but we just want extra damage. So I guess the big thing is that TF's dead. That being said, I mean, it's not like it's super unlikely he just has another one. Actually, maybe he discarded some. So he discarded at least one TF. Good to know. Sedge is super sweet, especially with her being one-off, being leveled. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get any damage here, obviously, but I mean, if I could, it would be really good. Make it rain, okay, that's fine. So there's some more Yoinky stuff, unfortunately. You know, I wonder if it's ever just Sejuani next round now and like play Petty Officers here to try to go wide. Petty Officer, Ruthless Reader is really not that bad of a play. Probably want to lead with the Raider though, because if he does that Make It Rain, it's going to be very good into the Petty Officer and the ones that we have. I guess that is if he has another copy, sorry. So we can do that to, I think, get the 1-cost unit over the keg should be good. The Plucky Poro, let's go. Control, you're here for Hearthstone content, but you're happy you stopped playing because my last videos you didn't seem that happy. Honestly, dude, I think in my last little tenure with Hearthstone, I was actually having a lot more fun than I was previously in like the past like year or two. I would actually like wager that the metagame for Wild at least is more interesting than it has been in a while. I can Plucky Port twice, but I just find Runeterra as a game to be a lot more enjoyable. That's about it. There's really not much more to it than that. You know, I've been playing Hearthstone for a really, really long time, so it's probably not that that hard to believe that, you know, I'm getting a little bit tired of it after a while. Sure. Really nice we got the Omen Hawk buff here. But again, like, still a really good game, just one that's, you know, we played a little bit too much. And for all I know, it might get to be the same way with Runeterra eventually. Not saying that's, you know, there's like a 0% chance of that or anything, right? So I played Runeterra a couple weeks ago and was told this is a stream to watch. Hey, welcome, man. Feel free to hit me with any questions you have. Definitely happy to help. So if we do this, then we would technically just freeze the whole board, right? Like Sejuani would level up, she would attack, and we would freeze all this stuff. You could play like a buff here to maybe stop that from happening though, which wouldn't be that great, but I think that this is still probably just going to be the look with the double overwhelm. Could also play Hired Gun, I guess, as a thing as well, but I don't think the Hired Gun is like as relevant here. So Fury of the North. So my Sejuani kind of doesn't do stuff now. We still get the next one leveled though, so that's good. But you know, could be a little bit better than Sejuani dying. It's kind of funny. I literally recorded an intro for a Gangplank deck with Slotbot today that stole cards from your opponent's deck, and I said that you know, it is pretty fun when you do play with it, but it's kind of frustrating to play against your own cards and get clapped by them. And I mean, there we just missed lethal because of a stolen Fury of the North, which kind of felt pretty bad.
Yeah, you don't want
Okay, did this guy just? Oh, okay, he drew my cards that steal cards from decks, and then he's playing with my cards as steal cards to. This goes way too deep, man. It goes way too deep right now. So he stole my cards, the steal cards. And then he's stealing my cards with them. It's just too next level. Just do that, I guess.
feel no fear, show no mercy. Words to die by.
Yeah, definitely agree that the Yoink deck mirrors are kind of shit shows for sure. I mean, at least these are like relatively different ones, right? Like my deck isn't really like as much of a Yoink deck as it is kind of like a kind of like mid-rangey overwhelm list, I would say right now. Whereas his, I would say, definitely leans more towards the kind of Yoinkies idea. It's still looking really good for us though, obviously, right? Like we got Sejuani, we got the Ruthless Raiders. You know, in this case, I mean, we Yoink a 3-2, which isn't really that great because sometimes, I mean, the 3-2 can get buffed by another Fury of the North if he has that. Maybe, actually, if I only have one in the deck still. Have I played one or two? I'm not sure how this one works. So for the Mobalytics tracker, it actually would not. It would not track Furies properly. So I don't remember if I run 2 or 3 Furies. If you only run 2 Furies, all of them have seen play, then we don't have to worry about that. So that might actually be might be good here for us, if that's the case. Regardless, I think we're just gonna do this. I mean, you know, if you play some stuff, maybe we play Make It Rain. Hope that does something and potentially pushes a little bit more damage here. And our 1-1 connects, we do 4 there. So I mean, technically just on board with the 4 we're gonna get from Sedge and the 1 from the Omen Hawk, we technically have lethal. But I mean, there should be some spells that come down to do some stuff here. Sure, that's the case. So we already played a spell, pass, so we can say, okay, just take the 1 before we, you know, we do anything stupid with the Make It Rain. Good win. Definitely a sketchy one though, man. Like, it's never a good look when they play Black Market Merchant and then just steal your Omen Hawked up Jagged Butcher and get a 0 mana 4/4. Control, congrats on the YouTube grind. Thanks, Neomore. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, YouTube is definitely doing alright, man. Definitely doing alright with the YouTube stuff, fortunately. So we're getting to MF Sedge, which is okay. It's not terrible for us or anything. I'm just wondering like what I really want to keep here, like whether it's Make It Rain or not. I want the Raider for sure. I don't think I want Warning Shot. It's nice because we can't activate the Plunders though early, but it's mostly good with like Wolf Rider and Run Evens anyways. I feel like it's probably okay to keep. It's just a decent deck, or a decent card, sorry. Does activate Plunder as well. There's just like a lot of reasons why it's good. So he plays Jagged Butcher now. Okay. I mean, he already activated the Plunder. I wonder if I just play the Omen Hawk here and don't block ever. I think that's probably right. The problem is if he has a 2, then I mean my whole play here is kind of bad because I want to play Raider and attack. And I mean, in this case, then Raider wouldn't really do that much, right? Because I don't get any overwhelm damage into the Butcher, and if he plays a 2-drop, then, I mean, obviously the Omen Hawk's not doing anything either, so. The idea with this, though, is that I would get the Plunder effect off, which would then scale its Edge GP, which is kind of what we want to do. I lost extra ranks for being Canadian. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That would be the Canadian response, I think. You need more redeemed AMA? When are we going bald again? Probably not for a bit. Probably not for a bit. Yeah, I'm cool with having hair again. I don't mind being bald, and you know, I'm happy to know that I can do it now, but it's still not my preferred hairstyle, I would say. My preference definitely leads towards having hair, I think. Why does our hand do nothing? This is very awkward. Like, very, very awkward here. Because, I mean, I'm drawing like a lot of our more expensive cards. Which is not really ideal, I think. So I could make it rain, I guess. You could play like Fury of the North too, though, is the problem, right? Like, that's one of the things here. I might actually just want to take this and say that's okay. Because of that. It feels like it's such a big punish that if I gave him the opportunity to do that, I'm just really not going to be that happy. No, I mean, it's the exact same thing now, but if he plays a unit, then at least I have the Make It Rain, and then I can see what he's doing, and then just basically block the buffed unit with the Omen Hawk here. So, I mean, in this case, obviously, the Fury of the North is going to actually clear the Gangplank. I think it is still going to be Make It Rain here, just to, you know, potentially deal 2 damage to some of these. That's actually probably best case scenario, just so like Gangplank at least trades with whichever one of these happens, and we get a plunder. So I don't think I can really complain about that outcome, to be honest. He gets a bonus one, and got the water. Sure. So he still has 4 mana. I'd probably just go 1-1 into 1-1, then he's gonna probably Fury the Navigator. I think 20 health is too little in Runeterra. Not really. No. I think it's fine. You have ways to heal. Damage is pretty tough to actually get in a lot of time in this game, I find. One of the things with like the whole 20 health kind of thing is that it's one of the reasons why burn has been kind of a thing. Is that traditional aggro in a lot of metagames really just does not succeed. Because... Okay. That's fine then. So I believe it's still just like Hawk here, and that's about it. Traditional aggro just does not do as well because you're really, I guess, unfavored as the attacker in this game, because the blockers can really just choose where you want to, where they want to block, and, you know, make the trades favorable for themselves. Obviously, outside of like the vulnerable and whatchamacallit mechanic. I don't really like Sedge into a Sedge. I feel like it's Gangplank and then just Make It Rain again. If he plays... If you play a Sedge here, it's bad as well, but I mean, it's not like the end of the world or anything, I think. So I feel like I want to Sedge defensively, not offensively here. Especially when, you know, Sejuani and my Sejuani is just so good for him. But that's one of the reasons why Burn has seen success, and, you know, obviously periods, even like this patch with Rising Tides, you know, the first 1 and 2 patches, where it's the most popular and most prevalent deck to play, just because 20 health isn't a ton, especially when you have a lot of cards that are going to be able to do damage. Close to that number. I think I do play this here. It's just decent with the keg. It also puts GP 1 off leveling. I don't get to play the Butcher, obviously, but I'm still a fan of it. You know, maybe feigns the ability to like level him up and get like a value trade for next round or something. So I like it. What's up, Jerberry, man? What is good? What is the deck tracker name? LOR Dash Tracker. GP Sedge better than MF Sedge? I'm not sure. I'm trying it out. Deck feels good to me. Definitely does not feel that bad. This is one from a dude in Asia. I mean, if we're just going to Fury the North trade, it's not really that great for either of us, but I mean, I think it's still probably the play. Just do that, and then he probably has to play a Fury here as well. I think this kind of leads to him being in a little bit of a better spot, though, just because I have first action next rounds. So because of that, I'll be the one that has to play my Sejuani first, I guess. So I mean, like the trade's fine. It's not that big of a deal. You know, I almost think I'm actually just gonna pass on the Butcher here, save the spell mana, so I can play the Butcher first to make him maybe play something that I would prefer to Sedge. I think is probably the play here. Gonna join the tempo and Direct as well against the Sedge decks. Yeah, that makes sense. So now we just have to do this. I do really want my Sejuani out, especially with the Dreadway coming down next round, so... You know, if he has another Sedge to answer, it sucks, but that's just the way the game goes sometimes. Sure. So, I mean, I could get the flip technically if I Fury the North, but it's not really worth it, I think. Let's kill an Omen Hawk, guys. See you later, buddy. Kind of feels good to get the guy out of there. Good stuff. Wolf Rider, you're a little bit late, man. Just a little bit late. This guy is like me going to high school, man. Just like always. I guess this would be like 6 hours late. Like 2 hours late. You guys late to school as kids? I don't know what it was, man, but I would basically just always be late. Have a really, really difficult time showing up on time to a lot of stuff for school. So, how many times is that getting targeted? 1, 3, that's 3 already. 4, 5, 6. No, it's 5 times. So 5 times to make it up 10 health. If I just Fury of the North, it's not really insane because he can go ahead and just play Make It Rain again then. So it's actually really not the best line ever. It might still just be better to play Dreadway here, even though it feels really, really bad. I guess like any 1-drop after 2 is lethal though. So I mean, it's kind of sketchy if I just go for Dreadway and block the 7-4. Because I'll be 3 and then Jagged Butcher would win in the game. Whereas with this line, I mean, I'm still blocking Sejuani with something without too much health because I'm playing Wolf Rider. I probably just have to let this go through and play Dreadway, I think. And just take the LFE as a 1-drop or like anything along those lines. Kind of feels bad, but I mean, it's just, it's really unlucky RNG there. With the Sedge getting hit 5 times. But that's how it goes. Also, Fury is lethal as well, obviously, right? Like, I mean, he just plays out its game, so it's definitely not what I would call a good look here. So we're 3, but we're not dead. Okay. Gangplank will do 4 damage to the Make It Rain and level, and then his effect will deal 2. So we technically clear Sejuani here with this line. And we have a Fury of the North that's still playable as well. So I mean, just based on this, it might actually be winnable because you can't just jam another Sejuani into one of my units because I mean, obviously one's a play. Wolf Rider, sure. So we can do this and just clear the units. So GP flips.
Bilgewater is mine and mine alone.
He's literally doing 12 overwhelm damage right now because of the Dreadway, by the way. If I Fury the North, it's doing 20. Actually insane. Hired gun, sure. So it shouldn't really be that relevant though. So if we do this, I mean, he has, you know, basically nothing to do here, right? Because I mean, it's going to go down to 2 health, and then we're going to do 12 overwhelm. So I mean, it's exactly just lethal with only the Gangplank in play. So this should just be a dub. GG. That one was honestly pretty tough. It was definitely a close game. And I mean, the Riptide definitely ripped us a new one and, you know, made us have to actually concede the game, do a lot of different things there, but okay. Daegu and Derp, sure. I mean, is what I really want here this exact curve? It's obviously not terrible, but I mean, is it really? So in his list, I'll put like some removal cards and just like a lot of tokens, I guess. Hired Gun is definitely a good card. It's just I'm not really sure if I want to play that yet because I mean, like on average, I'll just play like a Lace or Callista, and I have nothing that's really going to clear those. I guess until the Petty Officer, which is not very good in the case that he has Feast. So, you know, maybe it's like that. Okay, that makes me a lot happier. Honestly, like these two, Ruthless Raider and Omen Hawk, are significantly better, I think, than the alternatives that we had offered to us there. I also do think the Omen Hawk trade here is just good because we'd like to have buff units to match his, and I would still kind of like to go for like the Butcher Plunder effect as well. So I mean, as a 1-drop, he's really easy to weave in later, and like a 1-mana 3/3, like even like turn 5 or 6 is actually still quite good. Jam the Raider here. Sure. You know, I'm not always like happy to just take this, but I think because we get the plunder, it's important to do this. It's not a good trade because I mean, one, we give him a card, and two, I mean, we lose a unit, but it's feeling okay, to be honest. I'm not like opposed to it super heavily or anything. The idol is really good now. Nothing's gonna be able to block at least anyways. Just go monkey idol, take the Eldest rounds. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes. Also, the Omen Hawk buff here is not very good, believe it or not. Kind of just does absolutely nothing on the idol because he's kind of gonna get hit 3 times anyways, so it's not gonna be a game changer or anything here. For the Grifter, I think. Caretaker is pretty good actually with the monkey idol in some cases. I don't think it's gonna become really that relevant until a lot later on in the game, but you know, when we get to those points, it will be pretty sweet. Attack here should be fine. Makes sense. Glimpse, sure, that's fine. Fortunately, the warning shot does not hit units. Kind of sucks. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see like a lovely Kalista or something like that next round. I feel like a lot of time that's what he's going to really want to do here. So we shouldn't really be surprised if that's the outcome. Is this as simple as like Gangplank into to Sejuani? If he's playing the Curse Keeper, it seems really likely he wants to play Caretaker here. But it's not even like his challenges are really that good. He can make it so like he challenges the Grifter and then the Gangplank, so like the Gangplank will be bad next rounds. But it might still just be okay for me to like pass here even, I think. Over giving him that with the Gangplank so he just doesn't die when he attacks, but it's maybe just okay to do this. We have Sejuani next round anyways, just get the Gangplank out. Obviously no Make Your Rain mana, but I think we're okay here. So he'll just make it so that the Kalista is gonna level basically here. But I mean, he probably won't attack with her because if the 4/4 still trades and he doesn't have challenge. I guess he could do that too, right? That actually would make more sense, right? If he goes Kalista into the barrel, that would be a much better play, I think, for him. But I guess this is fine as well because he's protecting Elise, which you know, also gonna make sense here. So let's find GP's a 5/4. He's a 3 out of 5, so he's never gonna be leveled for next rounds, which is perfectly fine. I think I don't really have an issue with that, and I mean he should still be protected for us because. What we'll be doing a lot of time is just playing Sejuani into the Kalista and having Gangplank attack the Kalista here, so I think even though he's taking a damage, and I mean we'll die to some stuff now, it's not like that big of a deal. So his Vayne who Endure is going to be kind of juiced up now, right? He's had a lot of units die, so we're kind of at the point where we should be sort of worried about stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be so worried that we really just sweat about it or anything, but it is definitely something to think about. The classic Sejuani with 0 spell mana on 6 when you're attacking. That's what I'm talking about. And he has a Caretaker. That is very annoying. But okay. Can't do too much about that. This card is so good, dude. It is just... Actually, is kind of bonkers, not gonna lie. One of those cards that just... that looks... like it's pretty good, but really fair at the same time. And then you play with it a little bit, and you're just like, you know, I never really thought Everglade Collector would be that good. That's how I view it at least. But yeah, he really is just that busted of a card. Especially in a deck like this, you just win so many games so you really shouldn't. That's a very dead Gangplank, unfortunately. Kinda sucks. Sedge is leveled next round at least, so I can Morning Shot Make Your Rain to maybe freeze the board before he attacks. Could be good. Could also just open here, which would be probably the smart move. Well, I guess even with the open, we could still technically have this happen sometimes. Would I Make It Rain first, just in case I don't get the Nexus Strike. I guess I could technically do it during combat anyways, but it's a little bit weird. So it's maybe like Higher Gun. I should have to play a unit though. That should be crucial to win here, I think. So I mean, basically, if this just doesn't work, we lose. Is where I'm at, I guess. This card is an ephemeral. I probably just should not block that, I guess, then.
Make it worth my while. Leave no survivors.
I think that I actually probably fucked up there because if I played Make It Rain first, it was more likely that this would work than it is right now. So that is not lethal, so we're fine. Why do I have to block that? Because it's gonna die anyways, right? With the hit. So that should be fine. I fucked up though, for sure. I agree with you. Obsessed, yeah. Definitely was a misplay. 110% was not correct.
Everyone's a garden.
So I can challenge 3 things here. No more than that. That's pretty annoying. I mean, he's just gonna atrocity post attack though, is the thing. So it's kind of a weird one. I have to play this because he can just say okay, then I die. It's really unfortunate, but I do have to do it. Playing grass with this, I guess, so I should do it here. But it like, I don't think it really matters where I do it, to be honest. I think it's just gonna be like a really wow. Yo, Court, thank you so much for gifting 5, dude. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Welcome to Zelda, Small Priest, Coastline Cat, Sea Downs, and Toast. There's some pogs in the chat for Courts, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it a lot, dude. Yeah. I have no clue how we won that game, by the way. Sedge plus Fury is good. It doesn't really feel like that was one that we should have won, though, because we did kind of fuck up, right? With the Make It Rain. I think the reason why Mixer's like buying streamers is because the cost of making themselves a service right now is less than what they projected the value of the market share that they'll have in the future will be, I guess. If that makes any sense. So they're basically doing it so YouTube and Twitch don't have a monopoly is the idea. Heimer Vi, I mean, I kind of still want early game cards. I do think that I keep the Wolf Rider though. Maybe a little bit greedy, but I think it's still okay. Okay, I mean, it's not bad. Some of the deck code for this one. I can grab it for you after the game. I didn't update the command today, though. Pass, okay. So we got the open attacks and the Butcher's buff, nice. Well, there's the Sedge that we're going to be able to ramp into, I guess. It's kind of a weird one in this exact spot, though, because it's not even like we have guaranteed Plunder on turn 4. We're going to have to be ahead on units, and I don't even think our average draw is going to be 4 or 3. I guess actually, sorry, our average draw is 3 or less. If you look at the deck list, which is pretty small for you guys, but it's a lot more, I guess, like clustered around the 3 or less part. It's just that for cards 4 and above, especially like the Sheriff, Tusk Raider, and Dreadway are all one-ofs, just makes it look like we have more of them in the deck than we actually do. I'm going to pass through and just let him get the 2 in, I guess. I wonder if I just like open with Make It Rain into Wolf Rider over just like attacking and then doing it. Because I push more damage this way, and that's probably actually relevant in this matchup. And it's not like I'm going to get 2 kegs to make It Rain able to hit the Heimer anyways. And it's not his buy turn, so I think it makes sense to just try and have this work. And if it doesn't, he's going to have to spend mana to deny that effect, so just a good look overall, I think, here. Oh, yeah, no, I know I just said that I haven't updated the deck code today, man. I can definitely do it after the game, don't worry. It's okay. Should be 2 out of 5 as well, I think. Yep. Not bad. Sure. Oh no, our Wolf Rider did his job by ramping our mana and dealing 3 damage. That is so bad. Tragic. I guess the real tragedy here is the Heimer stuff. That's really what's tragic here, I guess. I should probably play Hired Gun, actually, just to make it have the vulnerable tag on it. It's either I play Gangplank now or Sejuani now, and then the other one the next rounds. I wouldn't have Hired Gun later, though, is the problem. I guess it's like this play, it's just very contingent on exactly how many 3-1s he has. I think just playing a Wolf Rider as a 4-mana 4-3 here should be okay. It just ties to the 3-1, but it pushes 3 damage, and he's already at 11 health, so if that's a line and we look for something like Sejuani next round, I think we're generally going to be relatively happy. Could also thermo the 4-3 here, so maybe you argue I should have passed even, but it's okay, you won't have spell mana then, so. And it also beats the thermo that won't go into Sedge, but yeah. Otherwise he still has spell mana to do that, whereas now he doesn't. It has to be like a will. It's good. Control, been watching my videos and streams for a couple weeks. You really enjoy them. Thanks for putting in the work with the streams and daily videos. Hey man, thanks for watching, dude. Yeah, definitely recognize your username, man, and you know, I couldn't do it without you guys watching me every day, man. So I appreciate it a lot, and thanks for checking the content out. It means a lot. Let's hit the Sedge button. I'm actually trying a little bit harder with my YouTube stuff, more so than Twitch right now. Just because I find that when I stream too much, I really get burnt out on games. And, you know, YouTube is like, it's kind of fun to do. I found it like pretty relaxing. And it's kind of nice to reflect on, I guess, that sort of stuff. With, you know, whether or not I think that I did a decent job with like the video that I made or not, I guess, is what I mean by reflecting. And it's also okay to like look back at your gameplay and stuff too. Definitely not that bad. So how is that really helping him win though? It's gotta be all will in this Edge then as well, I guess. Which, like, don't get me wrong, is fine. Like, it doesn't really matter. If we push 7, put him at 4 health, it's usually just gonna be a win anyways, but just like a slightly more delayed one, I guess. It's also really good to see the Will of Ionia, because then he can't just spend like 6 mana on 2 3-mana spells and completely clap our cheeks with these elusive units next rounds. So I mean, realistically, you really have no way to play around them, other than I guess like the vulnerable kind of mechanic, or like the Make Your Rain that we already played. I guess I shouldn't. We have Parlay too. We do actually have fairly realistic ways to deal with that. Sure, so he's at 2 health. I mean, that's fine, honestly. Personally, don't really have issues with that. I have a Grifter for a Warning Shot and a Gangplank for a Barrel, so I mean, definitely a way that we could win is just by trying to do something like that. Or we could just play 2 Warning Shots and win the game that way as well. So maybe this is just the way to win. Look at the Allegiance. I would be mad if it mattered, but it shouldn't. Fortunately, it's not burn meta, so people usually aren't going to be running health potions right now. So I mean, this double Warning Shot here should kind of just make him a little bit upset, and kind of lead to a fat dub for us. Not surprised even 1 Riptide's in the deck. Do I not like the card? So this is actually a list from a guy who plays on, I don't know exactly which server. In the Asian server though, probably like, I think he was Japanese. I can maybe try to find the tweet. Should probably win the game and stop BMing now. But, I translated the tweet and he said that he didn't like Riptide Rex. And I figured that I would actually try it out, because I think one of the things that can happen with Riptide Rex is you maybe get baited to save like Warning Shots or stuff. Basically it's ways to parlay into the late game, whereas with a list like this, it's much more oriented on just getting your GP and Sejuani online early, you find.